Okay, hello, and welcome to the latest installment of And Sarah Appeared. Of course, my name is Sarah, and I'm coming to you with another word that I actually got. It's a continuation of the Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 11. So, the running theme that has been going on is the Holy Spirit has really been talking about idolatry, also talking about some of the consequences that we can face if we're choosing to basically give ourselves credit for things that have been built up in our lives or value the material things versus valuing the God that gave us the material things, or the God that gave us the witty ideas and the inventions and the gifts to be able to perform in the way that we do. So with that being said, this one is a little, it's out there. So let's brace ourselves. Back in October, I got a word of the Lord, and it was in regards to politics, and it was in regards to extortion. And so I really didn't know what to think of that, because it's like, that seems like some secret agent spy stuff. It's like so out of the way, like seriously. But the Holy Spirit was saying, there is actually a backstory to this. And with that being said, the title in the thumbnail is in regards to pillow talk and being careful where you lay your head at and sleep. So this is kind of like a really kind of heavy word, but it was also just the way the Holy Spirit presented it to me. And there's even like some movies that, corresponded with this. So this word is centered in the book of Judges, and it is coming from Yale's story. Now, if you don't know who Yale is, Yale was a wife who her husband was like I would say he was like a king in the land, but he wasn't the king. He was like a landlord in the Israeli community, and they were on the side of Israel when it came to opposing forces from this general named Xerxes. Xerxes saw the Israelites coming down the mountain to attack him and his men, and in a frantic panic, he ran barefoot and I believe like almost without any clothes down to a distant friend of his tent or camp, where the friend was no longer there. He was gone out taking care of business, and he comes across the wife of the friend, Yael. Yael is very inviting. She really plays it off that she doesn't know him, but her hospitality ends up luring this man in because he did this long run. He was exhausted. He needed something to drink, and he also needed to be clothed. So with that being said, the Holy Spirit made me pay attention to a movie that starred Liam Neeson and an actress, Laura San Giacomo. The title of the film is called Under Suspicion. The film came out in 1991, and the narrative of the film was about a husband who was a divorce lawyer, and he won his cases by propping his wife up to seduce high-profile dignitaries and men of power. In order to make the grounds for the divorce valid, the wife, while seducing the men, would have videotape/recording of the affairs for proof, and once the evidence was gathered, Liam Neeson was able to effectively prosecute. Okay, so what does that have to do with Yael and this general Xerxes? Well, Yael was actually, I would say, she was put up by her husband and by the Israelites, and also during this time, Deborah and Barak were two prophets who were governing over the wars that were happening between Israel and the opposition that was coming up against Israel. So this was like a whole entire conspiracy that was put together in order to trap or ensnare this general Xerxes, because Xerxes was very powerful. He literally did not lose any wars, and he conquered on the behalf of his king all the lands that he ever went to war with. So the Israelites had to really think, and they had to really appeal to how they were going to be able to lure him in, and what were they going to be able to do to conquer this general who was so skilled in war. Okay, so Yael underneath the guidance of her husband, as he's out of the tent, Yael understands that this man is going to be coming looking for shelter because the soldiers saw the general retreat and leave his troops behind when he found out, like, oh snap, they're coming and they're coming to come get us. He already had a relationship with Yael's husband, knew that Yael's husband was like kind of like a third party. He really didn't have any side or any affiliation, or so he thought, to the Israelis. And so he thought he was safe going to his homeboy's tent and staying in there with his wife. Little did he know, Yael was just waiting to tire Cersei's down so that she could be able to go in for the kill. Literally, this lady takes a pin and a hammer and hammers it through the general's head. Now, there's also, in the movie that I described, the female actress Giacomo. She had a film that came out in 89, and it was called Sex, Lies, and Videotapes. And the Holy Spirit was like, pay attention to the title of that film because it actually goes along with what I'm showing you. So what does this have to do with Yael and Cersei's? So Cersei's was so engulfed in the things of this world that he did not heed to God's voice, and he continued to attack against the children of Israel. Cersei's was a general with many battles that were won, and the general never thought that the unassuming enemy would be the wife of his friend, a maiden with some milk and warmth, okay? So this is going back to the thumbnail title, beware of pillow talk and beware of sleeping with the enemy. There is going to be stories of extortion, and there's also going to be these things that come out in the headlines internationally in the political realm. And let's also keep an open mind that politics is not just exclusive to government. It also politics runs into every facet of life that has an ecosystem. So politics could be in the private sector, politics could be in technology, politics could be, and y'all keep an eye out for this whole beef that's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter and Apple. Like, politics, even in the tech industry. Politics in media, politics in medicine, and yes, even politics in the church. So when we say politics, anything that has an ecosystem or a hierarchy that's being ran by an organization, nobody is safe. With that being said, foolish in his own counsel and uninterested in hearing from God, Cersei's laid down in the enemy's camp and was set up. Warning comes before destruction. So a lot of people who are just vicariously doing what they need to do and being so trusting of who they are, in not having any regards to the titles that they hold or the positions that they have or that they carry, they're going to be caught up in snares that they're not going to understand how to really explain. And one thing about this, Yael was working underneath the guise of God's plan. Like, even though you would say, oh, she killed someone, she did this, she did that, it was all in God's plan. So according to the Talmud, Yael engaged in sexual intercourse with Cersei 7 times, but because she was attempting to exhaust him in order to kill him, her sin was for heaven's sake and therefore praiseworthy. Also, according to the Midrash, Cersei had previously conquered every country against which he had fought. So because Cersei had unrepented sin that he fell asleep on, and because he believed that it was his divine right to punish and bring Israel to ruin, Cersei's accolades, the battles that he won, and the prestige could not protect him from this divine setup. God was in the plan. God was with Yael, and God supported Yael in her conquest to assist her husband in defeating the enemy. God speaks to everyone, but not everyone listens. So with that being said, I know this was like a really strange, like, whirlwind of a word that was going on, but there are like Yaels that are coming forth in different arenas of politics, in different facets of life. So you're going to be seeing a lot of individuals who are going to be planted by God to play key roles in doing and in acting out the the different things that they're doing in order to kind of stop some of the activity of these dignitaries who are not listening to the voice of God, or who are actively just rebelling against God and going the opposite direction of what he has to say concerning what he wants done justly to his people. With that being said, bye for now.